line of guards.
Yeah, it's certainly based upon tradition, which goes back many, many years. Now, the castle itself is 951 years old. So William the Conqueror said, this is not a bad place to put a castle. It was kind of a hill heading down toward the Thames, and it was a good place to go hunting. So he said, let's build a castle here. Little aside, sadly, this is one of the first public engagements the Queen has had since the passing of her husband, Prince Philip. And it's a great story when Americans used to come out, or dignitaries would come out to Windsor, and he would meet them out there. And he was always a jokester. And people looking at the historical aspects of the castle. And it's very much like that Heathrow. So he would say, yes, it's great living out here, but the terrible thing is, why the heck did they build us so close to the airport? And all trying to catch the tourists going, no, that's good. Geez, why did they do that? So yeah, that's a little aside. If you look at the statistics, this is the 14th U.S. president that she has now met as the monarch. There's a little asterisk as well. A year before she assumed the throne upon the death of her father, she also met Harry S. Truman, but she was only a princess there. So you want to count that or not, that's up to you. But yeah, she's had a heck of a seat on the parade of history, the parade of life, going back to the early 50s. And next year she'll be on the throne for 70 years. We're planning a long 4-day weekend in about 12 months, and the country will celebrate that.
Wow. This tea they had, am I able to get more information on what kind of tea?
You probably could, but I'll just say it's tea. And,
right. I've only had one high tea experience, and it was over there. I was over there for work. Yeah, I was over there for work. I was doing a movie junket, and I think I was staying at the Dorchester. But
yes, a name dropper. There you go.
No. But I only mentioned that because I did the high tea there.
Yep.
And it was.
Did you like it? They normally come out. The serving trays come out like in three different elevations, and then you get various things like Battenberg cake, and little pieces of pie, and little pieces of other kinds of cookies, and well, they call them biscuits, but whatever. And then you're going to get your fancy damn tea. So, yeah, did you like it?
I enjoyed it so much. I felt, first of all, I always felt like I belonged there. Like a part of me was like, at some other time in my life or a previous life, I was a royal. I would fit in very well, and so I just felt like I was doing something that was very normal for me. A normal Tuesday.
You might have something there, You never know.
I agree with you, Tom.
You might have been a princess in the past, see?
I do believe that, and thank you for affirming that for me. I want to ask you, too. So the meeting overall, it went very well, and this was not their very first time ever meeting. She had seen him when he first landed, right? When he first got to town. And they had also met a while ago when he was he vice president or senator? They had met her a while ago.
Yeah, I met a while ago, in fact, and then on this particular trip, she has met with all the leaders in the Eden Project, which is kind of a fascinating thing. It's been going on for quite a few decades now, down in the Southwest. It is like, in essence, it's a new rainforest, and they kind of look at climatic implications and changes and that sort of thing. So she was out there. She was cutting a cake with a ceremonial sword, as you should do if you are a queen. And she looked in pretty good spirits. And, this is just a few months now after the passing of her husband, but she looks like she's firing on all cylinders and kind of picking up the modicum of her late husband, who said, compare and contrast with Harry and Meghan, Philip used to say, just carry on, just go do your job and don't think about, setbacks. Just go and do it. And that's what she's doing right now, at 95 years of age.
Wow. Yeah, I think Biden said that she reminded him of his mother. And did the Queen just have a birthday?
Yeah, the Queen is turned 95. Tripping of the Color this weekend, too. That's her. If you're a queen, you get an official birthday, because if you're born in a part of the year where the weather isn't so nice, you get an official birthday in the summer and figure the weather's loud. So you get two birthdays if you're a royal.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I've got to become a royal. Well, Tom, it's always a pleasure talking with you, and one day I will get back over there and we can go have tea. Hi, tea.
There you go. That sounds like a winner.
It does. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Well, let's get back to a couple of stories I want to point out from the KFI newsroom. So triple-digit temperatures are expected to hit the mountains and valleys this week. The National Weather Service has issued an excessive heat watch for the Los Angeles County coast that will take effect tomorrow, lasting through Wednesday. Forecasters say the extreme heat will create dangerously hot conditions. Temperatures could reach 113 this week in the Antelope Valley, and that could raise the risk of fires, of course, and illnesses related to heat. Let's talk about some firefighting efforts. A 180-day program to provide extra firefighting helicopters to departments in LA, Orange, and Ventura counties will start tomorrow. The Quick Reaction Force program includes 2 Boeing Chinook CH-47 helitankers and a Sikorsky S-61 helitanker. The CH-47 can carry 3,000 gallons of water, and unlike other firefighting helicopters, they can fly at night. Southern California Edison is financing the $18 million program. A Cape Cod lobster diver has nearly been swallowed by a humpback whale. Michael Packer says he felt like he'd been hit by a Mack truck.
I was like, did I just get bit by a shark? Or, no, it's not a shark. I'm in a whale's mouth.
Say what? Let me hear that again.
I was like, did I just get bit by a shark? Or, no, it's not a shark. I'm in a whale's mouth.
That's what he said. So Packer says he was in the whale's mouth for about 30 seconds before it spat him out. The whale was like, "You do not taste good." He says he only has a dislocated knee. Oh, that's quite the story to tell. But I have a question. Did he get some lobster, though? Wasn't he diving for lobster? That was the whole point, Michael Packer, before you ended up in the whale's mouth. All right, when we come back, we have your Biz Bites, breaking down some of the biggest headlines that have happened over the weekend. But right now, let's take another look at your drive. There's a crash on the 101.
Downtown Los Angeles on the 101 South at 1st Street. Wreck with a couple of cars here, taking away the left lane. CHP made it to the scene. Your drive is going to delay right around 7th Street, it looks like. La Mirada on the 5 southbound just before Valley View. That's a crash with a truck up the right shoulder embankment. Expected that looky-loo slowing going on from Alondra Boulevard. In Carson on the 405 north at Avalon Boulevard, 2-car wreck just kind of limped over to the right shoulder moments ago. In Long Beach on the 710 South connector to the 405 northbound, somebody broke down. They're in the right lane on that transition road. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robin Banks.
If high ping takes you from first place to last place, you're not a bad gamer. You just need better internet. Get AT&T Fiber and get a ping rate under 11 milliseconds and unlimited data. With 20 times faster upload speeds, AT&T Fiber delivers a faster internet experience than cable. Limited availability in select areas. Call 1-877-ONLY-ATT. Speed comparison based on AT&T Internet 1000 wired upload connection speed versus major cable providers. 1 gig service with uploads of 35 megabits per second. Speeds vary, not guaranteed. Restrictions apply.
Southland weather from KFI. So the heat is definitely on. You can expect sunny skies. Sunshine, not a problem out there today. We're going to have highs in the mid-80s for the basin and inland OC. Some 70s along the coast. Expect temperatures to be low 90s for the valleys. Around 100 in the inland empire. Woo! High desert temperatures in the upper 90s, and then the mountains you can expect temperatures to be near mid-80s, 86. From the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Layla Muhammad.
Imagine you're at the wheel of a plug-in hybrid. No, imagine yourself in a plug-in hybrid BMW. Imagine that this vehicle features dynamic performance with an all-electric range long enough for local trips. And you'll get there quicker with access to the HOV lane. The BMW 330e, X3, X-Drive 30e, and X5, X-Drive 45e plug-in hybrids. Range, power, and performance that you unplug to unleash.
See a SoCal BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com.
For the health coverage you need close to home, lean on Molina Healthcare. Molina has 40 years of experience and covers preventive services, prescription drugs, maternity and newborn care, and more. For details, go to leanonmolina.com. Get the care you need. Lean on Molina.
If you're like me, you can't wait to travel, but a lot of destinations want a negative COVID-19 test That's where COVID Clinic comes in. COVID Clinic has 1-hour COVID-19 PCR tests to travel to almost anywhere in the world. They'll even help with your travel documentation. Make your trip prep easy by doing your COVID-19 testing at one of the many fast and even drive-through COVID Clinic locations near you. So whether you need a COVID-19 PCR test for travel, school, or you just want an antigen test, go to covidclinic.org. Restrictions apply. Go to covidclinic.org.
Small business owners know cutting costs without cutting quality is tough. How do you trim expenses without hurting your business? Easy. Get Spectrum Business. Call 888-489-2212. Switch to Spectrum Business and you can get the best internet and phone services for half of what you're paying today. Cutting costs can be easy when you get Spectrum Business. Just call 888-489-2212. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Call Service Champions for their $88 professional AC tune-up at 833-777-7777.
KFI would like to thank the Radio and Television News Association for making KFI News the winningest news outlet in Southern California.
KFI AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
An iHeart radio station.
Jennifer Jones-Lee this week on your wake-up call. Some stories we are staying on top of out of the KFI newsroom. That brush fire burning just south of Palm Desert. Homes destroyed in that fire, plus some evacuations. And fully reopening California. Tomorrow is the day, June 15th, lifting most COVID-19 restrictions across the state. At 5:55, I'm going to talk about a couple of stories I can't get off my mind from over the weekend, including that craziness that unfolded on that Delta Airlines flight with an off-duty employee. Did you see the video? It's everywhere. How some passengers came to the rescue. That flight, by the way, was leaving LAX. News brought to you by veteran-owned SemperSolaris.com. Right now we say good morning to ABC's Aaron Katursky. How was your weekend, Aaron?
Well, good morning.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I hope you did too.
It was mediocre. It was adequate for my life. Pretty adequate. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening. Break down this subpoena for us, please, because there's a lot going on. This is coming after we had reports of the Trump administration seizing some data from reporters and Democrats in Congress. What's happening now?
Yeah, and right around the same time those subpoenas were issued in February 2018, we've now learned that a subpoena went to Apple for iPhone records belonging to Don McGahn, who was at the time the sitting White House counsel for then President Trump. So it's highly irregular that the Justice Department would have subpoenaed Apple for records belonging to the sitting White House counsel. We can't think of an instance where that's really happened before. And the only thing we're not sure of is what the subpoena had to do with. What was it that the Justice Department was investigating? At the time, we know they were looking at leaks, and that involved subpoenas to reporters and to some House Democrats who were critical of the administration's contacts with Russia. But we're not sure that Don McGahn would have been caught up in that same thing.
Yeah, it was for Don McGahn and his wife, right?
Yeah, and his wife, too. And maybe the investigators thought that in order to cover his tracks, he would have turned to his wife's iPhone to make any surreptitious calls. But again, we're just not sure what the Justice Department was investigating. At the time, we know that McGahn had been a little bit upset with then President Trump because he had sought to fire the special counsel, Robert Mueller. All that was sort of swirling at the time, and McGahn, it was later reported, resisted the president's desire and threatened to resign if he forced him to fire the special counsel.
And do we know if anything was actually obtained from McGahn's account?
Well, what Apple says they turned over is the metadata. They turned over records so that investigators could see incoming and outgoing calls and text messages, but they couldn't see any content. They couldn't see pictures or emails. They couldn't read the text messages. They couldn't hear the phone calls, but they could see who McGahn was calling and who was calling him.
I mean, what sort of information are we getting from, has Apple responded? I mean, what are you hearing?
Well, Apple says that they turned over this stuff because the subpoena was issued by a federal grand jury. It was signed by a federal magistrate, and so Apple complied. And Apple probably didn't know what the subpoena was about. There's probably no way they could have known the investigative nature of it. They may not have even known who the person was associated with the account sought. So Apple was like, listen, it was properly signed. It came from a federal grand jury. We complied with it. What's not clear is whether the Justice Department was doing this at the behest of the former president. In other words, was this, how high up did the order go? And that's part of the reason why Democrats are looking for testimony now from the former attorneys general, both Sessions and Barr and their deputies, to see why this was authorized, what the nature of the investigation was, and whether this was all done properly.
Yeah, I was going to say this call for Attorneys General Barr and Sessions to both testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee. What would that look like? A timeline? Would that happen for sure?
I'm not sure it's really going to happen. We know the Justice Department is conducting an internal investigation, and that's as far as Republicans are willing to go. Republicans are perfectly willing to say that the Justice Department should do the internal thing, but they're not on board with the Democrats' plea to have these men testify. So we're not sure it's actually going to happen. Now, what would it look like? I think it would look like the questions that they've raised publicly, and that is, why were you doing this? It's really, really rare to have the Justice Department poking around the iPhones of members of Congress and of reporters, and why was that done? Who authorized it? Under what circumstances? And did anything come of it? It doesn't seem like it. Nobody's in jail. Nobody's been prosecuted. So what was the whole point?
All right, Aaron Katursky, we thank you for joining us this morning and breaking it all down.
Thank you, Layla.
Have a good day. Let's get to some business headlines right now, shall we?
It's time for Biz Bites. Bites of business. Biz Bites on Wake Up Call with Phil and host name here.
More than 2 million people passed through U.S. airport security checkpoints on Friday for the first time since early March of last year. The TSA says that figure was 1.5 million more travelers than the same day last year. Friday's figure was the first time in 15 months that the number of security screenings has surpassed 2 million in a single day. Airline bookings have been picking up since around February as more Americans were vaccinated against COVID-19 and travel restrictions such as mandatory quarantines began to ease within the U.S. Prior to the pandemic, TSA screened on average 2 million to 2.5 million travelers per day. The lowest screening volume during the pandemic was April 13th, 2020. Just 87,534 people were screened at airport security checkpoints. Amazon has unveiled 4 new warehouse robotic recruits to help reduce workplace injuries. Ernie, Bert, Scooter, and Kermit are currently undergoing testing and development at the company's Research and Innovation Lab in Seattle. The effort is part of a $300 million investment in safety projects for this year. Ernie is a new workstation system designed to help Amazon employees limit strenuous movements. Bert is Amazon's first autonomous mobile robot and uses advanced safety, perception, and navigation technology. Bert would be used to carry individual items across Amazon's fulfillment centers and may eventually be used to move heavier items or carts carrying packages. Scooter and Kermit are 2 autonomously guided carts that will transport carts and empty packages across the facility. Kermit is currently being tested in several Amazon warehouse sites across the U.S. Scooter will be deployed in at least one facility this year. Amazon hopes to reduce recordable injuries by 50% by 2025. Volkswagen and Audi have been hit by a data breach that exposed the contact information of customers in the U.S. and Canada. So here's what happened. The breach included data from people who had merely inquired about purchasing an Audi or VW vehicle. VW says more than 3 million customers or shoppers had at least basic info stolen from an outside vendor that worked with the automakers and some of their dealers. That data included phone numbers, email addresses, postal mailing addresses, and in some cases, vehicle identification numbers. The company has reached out to 90,000 people in the U.S., mostly Audi customers or shoppers who had sensitive information taken in that breach, which included driver's license numbers and social security numbers. The company is offering free credit protection to those customers. Home Depot says it's tired of dealing with shipment delays, so it's going to get a boat. Home Depot has contracted a ship to deal with shipment delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, including congested ports and container shortages. The ship will begin running next month. A Home Depot spokesman says the company has been forced to fly in power tools, faucets, and electrical components by air freight, or the company has even turned to buying items on the spot market. Other retailers have also had to go to great lengths to try to stock their stores and distribution centers and keep up with the consumer demand as the economy recovers from the pandemic. All these problems can affect shoppers in the form of out of stocks, long delays before a purchase's arrival, and higher prices. Six Flags Great America has settled a class action lawsuit by agreeing to pay $36 million over the use of fingerprint scanners at its theme park in Illinois. Six Flags was accused of violating a state law that requires companies to get permission before using certain technologies to identify customers. The Chicago Tribune reports pass holders and others who visited the Gurney Park between October 2013 and December 31st, 2018 could get up to $200 each. The Illinois Supreme Court in 2019 allowed the class action case to continue, saying the privacy law doesn't require someone to show an actual injury, such as identity theft. A final hearing is set for October. Microsoft has showcased 30 upcoming games and said most of those titles will be available on its monthly subscription service, Xbox Game Pass. The company said it would launch new games on Game Pass every month through the end of the year. Halo Infinite is set for a holiday launch this year after being delayed due to the pandemic. Several of the game launches announced by Microsoft at the E3 conference came from video game publisher Bethesda. Behind hits such as Fallout and Doom, Microsoft last year bought ZeniMax Media, parent company of Bethesda, for $7.5 billion. Microsoft also announced launch dates of two big budget games exclusive to Xbox and PC role-playing game Starfield and vampire-themed shooting game Redfall. Starfield will launch on November 11th of next year, Redfall next summer. Game Pass has hundreds of games playable on Xbox consoles, Android devices, and PCs with a $9.99 monthly fee. And those are your Biz Bites on this Monday morning. I did have to ask John to make sure I was pronouncing some of those games correctly. I said I don't want to get on the radio and sound like someone's auntie, although I am an auntie, so it's appropriate. A Pekingese dog named Wasabi has won Best in Show at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. 2,500 dogs entered that show, which is considered to be the most prestigious dog show in the U.S. I didn't get to watch this year, but I do find comfort in watching these well-behaved dogs who can do tricks, and they're just so cute, and they're always well-groomed. Like, the hair looks good, their nails, well-groomed. All right, when we come back, we're talking about the big talkers we can't stop talking about, from an unruly flight attendant to an explosive diarrhea outbreak. You heard me. It happened on the set of an upcoming game show. The show may or not have the word slip and slide in it. Right now, let's take a look at your drive. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. There's a crash on the 5.
It's in La Mirada on the 5 southbound just before Valley View. Wreck with the truck that went up the right shoulder embankment. Now everyone who needs to be there has arrived, so they've got the right lane shut down as they try to get that car back on the freeway. Meantime, you're driving pretty slow from Rosecrans. Downtown Los Angeles on the 101 south before 1st Street. We're working on the crash here in the left lane with your drive starting to slow down in Alameda. In Carson, 2-car wreck on the right shoulder, 405 north at Avalon Boulevard. Right, that's pretty easy to get through this area. In Long Beach on 710 South Connector to the 405 northbound. Still looking at somebody who has a flat tire on the right shoulder of that transition road. And there was a grass fire in Riverside on the 91 westbound at Adams. All of that has been extinguished and looks like traffic is flowing well. KFI and the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robin Banks.
This report is sponsored by Mercury Insurance. Low rates, big discounts, great insurance. You get it all with Mercury. And the best part is that it only takes a few minutes to get a fast free quote. That's right, just a few minutes could save you a few $100. So what are you waiting for? Get started with a free quote today at mercuryinsurance.com.
The Suns punched a ticket to their first Western Conference Finals since 2010. Phoenix swept the Nuggets and the league's MVP, Nikola Jokic. The Clippers look to even up their series against the Jazz tonight. LA dominated top-ranked Utah in their first game at Staples Center. And Walker Buehler is Mr. Consistency for the Dodgers. He extended his winning streak to 29 starts as True Blue took the series over the Rangers. I'm Misty Jordan.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Summer is here, so as the weather heats up, we start drinking and using more water at home. But don't reach for those nasty plastic water bottles. You can fill any glass or reusable bottle with filtered water coming straight from the taps in your house if you had a Life Source Whole House water system. And a Life Source Whole House water system reduces the odor and taste of chlorine from your water. Plus, you'll be bathing and showering in filtered water, so your hair and your skin will be free of the drying, harmful effects of chlorine. And with a Life Source water system, you buy directly from the factory, which is right here in Southern California, where they've been serving people for over 37 years. And hey, if you're looking for a new career opportunity, Life Source is currently looking for dedicated team members. So call Life Source today and get full service and full confidence in your water. Call them at 1-800-334-5009. That's 1-800-334-5009. Or just visit lifesourcewater.com. Life Source Water. Taste and feel the difference.
In 1975, my family lived under the boot of communist Russia. Hello, I'm John Akoyan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. Communism was so oppressive that my dad, who didn't speak a word of English, left everything behind and immigrated us to America. I was only 3 years old. I can't imagine the courage it took to do that. My father put us first, and at Rooter Hero Plumbing, we put you first. That's why we always offer you an affordable solution. If you have a clogged drain, call us at 866-DRAIN-77, and we'll cable your line for only $77. That's 866-DRAIN-77. Thank you for trusting Rooter Hero Plumbing with your most valuable asset, your home. I miss my dad, but his sacrifice will never be forgotten. Happy Father's Day.
CL 1028886.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
It's Father's Day this week, so I'm going to give you a break, Rick. Here are the top 5 reasons.
I'm not a father.
Oh, you're not a father? Just go with it. Not a father. Yep, makes perfect sense. Number 5.
Father's Day freebie. Dads get a free dad ball cap just by showing up June 20th.
Number 4.
Get a cool action camera for dad when you earn 500 points on your rewards card the 21st or 22nd.
Number 3.
Celebrate Dad's Day at Good Times Cafe. Get a juicy bone-in ribeye, sides, and dessert for one low price.
Number 2.
Take Dad to the lazy river. It's open.
And the number 1 reason to go to Morongo.
Spoil Dad or yourself at Sage Spa. Get the massage you desperately need and deserve.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Conveniently located along the I-10. Less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Morongo. Good times.
Advanced Hair Restoration is now offering $250 off and 250 free hair grafts for the same simple one-day treatment I received. Their standard of care always exceeds CDC guidelines, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. Call 844-333-HAIR or go to advancedhair.com.
Now, another iHeartRadio COVID-19 vaccine update.
There's a renewed push to get more Americans vaccinated this month as rates fall from a spring peak.
I would say every shot in every arm is a win because that person is now safe and protected from getting COVID-19.
CDC Director Rochelle Walensky is urging vaccinating. It's young adults get vaccinated too. It's safe and effective.
Get the latest vaccine info now at cdc.gov/coronavirus.
Portions of the following program will be recorded.
Handle is back.
Haters gonna hate. At 6 a.m. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
This Monday morning, Layla Muhammad and Jennifer Jones just heard that teaser right there. Bill Handel is back. I can see the top of his head right now. So make sure you stick around for Handel. We're so happy to have him back in the studio, doing well. A couple of stories we're staying on top of. The heat is on. We're getting ready for this heat wave. Triple-digit temperatures expected this week. Forecasters saying the extreme heat will create some dangerously hot conditions. And another COVID-19 vaccine. Vaccine maker Novavax planning to file for emergency use authorization in the U.S. and Europe in the coming months. Okay, it's 5:55 on your wake-up call. And I was talking with producer extraordinaire, award-winning producer Alex, about what we're going to do for this segment. And these are just some of the stories we can't get out of our minds. First of all, I don't know. It's like a special intro.
Not really.
We have to work on that. You guys,
here, we'll do one for you.
No, y'all have to do better. So for tomorrow,
it's winging it with Layla.
We're winging it. Yes, we are. Okay, did y'all see the video of the off-duty passengers having to take him down and the flight was diverted? Have you seen the video?
Oh, you mean the one of many incidents that have happened on planes lately?
No, but this is the one involving an employee for the airline. Ooh, who was not working at the time. I mean, the video is pretty intense. So apparently the pilot had called all able-bodied strong men to the front of the plane for some help because they say there was a flight attendant who was off-duty who was making threats. They said terroristic threats, assaulted 2 flight attendants allegedly. For Atlanta. They had to land, I think, in Oklahoma City to get him off the plane. Here's my thing. If you're calling for help from the people who are passengers on the plane, what protections do they have if they were to really, really hurt this guy? You know, knock him unconscious or something. Would you then face charges and you're trying to help? Because if they thought this man was trying to break into the cockpit or trying to open the actual door to the plane, then no one has time for that. People aren't sitting around waiting for that. They're going to interfere. But what protections do you have? Not saying this guy is going to, press charges, but it sounds like he shouldn't have gotten on the plane to begin with. They said he had on like a helmet getting on the plane and some like knee pads. Why didn't anybody stop him and say, what's going on? Anyway, if y'all haven't seen the video, you should watch it and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Alex, this next story that you want to talk about, you can't get out of your head. This is bizarre. I thought this was a joke at first. Okay, y'all. So NBC has a new game show coming out called Ultimate Slip and Slide. They had to stop production indefinitely after a crew member on the set in Simi Valley tested positive for That'd be my guess. That's what it looks like. Giardia. It's a microscopic parasite that, when swallowed, causes diarrhea. Now, here's the thing. They said it was an explosive diarrhea outbreak. I mean, it had to be bad. They shut down production. It wasn't like this person had it and they sent this person home. Were people just... Was it a mess all over the place?
It sounds like it was one person after the other. In one of the articles, it says up to 40 crew members fell violently ill.
Oh, no. So it's like a scene from the movie Bridesmaids. You remember that scene? Where they're going to go try on the dresses. They had that not-so-good food, that bad meat, and they go try